Okay.
Oh, hello, everybody. We can see you. I'm sorry it took us so long, but we've been trying to work this out. Granny Pat, are you there with me?
I am here, but barely. I thought I was going to end up having to go back to the bathroom again as long as we were taking get on here.
Look, I
But
have
I,
eyes for you. I have eyes for you.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've never had it so good.
Let me put on my other glasses. So,
There.
how are
That's
you?
you you
How are
talking to
you?
me? Well,
Yeah.
I was pretty good, but I'm telling you, getting on live is not easy. I think I could walk to a studio and get up in the studio and get it done quicker. Don't
It's
you?
been a mess. It's
Because
been a
I'm not
mess. It's been a mess.
much.
Yeah, it's been a mess. Let me turn that overhead light off.
Okay. This isn't easy, I am
No,
a
it's not. But you know
dunce.
the what?
If I'm a dunce, you know what that
No,
is.
no, 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 not at all.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
I think there's a lot of people have been waiting, and I'm sorry, but we could not figure this out. Uh, we did the best we could, so we'll try to read your comments, and we're trying to get this more worked out if we possibly can. Uh, Granny Pat, what have you been doing? We're just going to talk like we always do. What have you been doing this week?
This week, well, I'm so forgetful I can't even remember what I did, so I could do it again and never know the difference. Yeah, that's we can have the same conversation. I'd say we never talked like this before. So, yeah, that's how it is when you get my age. You'll find out one of these days. But I apologize. I swear, I just don't understand this stuff. I don't know how you have learned so much, and I'm just so thankful. And by the way, I'm watching myself on television now.
I know. Tell
It's
everybody
kind
about that.
it's kind of exciting because these people are probably watching me on television, and I'm watching me on a little screen this big, and all of a sudden I'm on a great big screen, and it just took my breath away. I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to have to put on better makeup and comb my hair because they can really see every little flaw." In fact, I think I'm going to have to shave those long hairs that get on women's chins. You know what? I don't
They get
shave.
on what?
I use the
What did you
scissors.
say? They get
I
where?
use
Oh, your chin.
scissors like this. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, they can see that now if they're on
Well,
TV, and I can see it.
I never saw it.
You don't- you didn't. Well, thank goodness for that. With those big
But you have
glasses
to.
you got on, what?
My mother keeps trying to be the director here, and she don't know what I'm seeing. Mother is trying to be the director. Seeing you can see it on the TV fine. So
Oh, I'll have to give her credit that she's had to listen to both of us at the same time.
it has,
Yeah.
it has been. I don't know. You know, we.
She
Uh,
wondered
I
how did this come
I,
about?
I
And
have
I
been.
asked the same question.
I've
You
been
know when we
messing up on. Uh, a lot of my videos have not been uploading because of the internet is so choppy. I don't know if it's because the kids are in school or why uh, there's so much going on, to take the bandwidth down so bad. Even though I live in Podunkville, it's gotten pretty bad.
Well, here we call it podunk holler.
Well, that's close. That's a cousin to where I live.
Anybody from Podunk Holler talks the same language I do.
You wanted to know. I got two things. I got two things I'm going to show you. Is some people asked about when I was a little boy on that ranch, so I went and got the photograph.
Oh my Lord! What?
That's
What?
that's
Timmy Lassie? Is that Timmy on?
I didn't
Did
have a
you?
Lassie. I didn't
You
have a
didn't have
Lassie. Yeah,
that?
I watched
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, people my
I
age know who Lassie was, and they know who
I
Timmy
remember
was.
watching. Yeah, I remember watching him. But I didn't have no Lassie. If I wasn't playing in the dirt, I was playing with June bugs on a string. You know,
Mama wouldn't let us have pets. My mama wouldn't
y'all
let
didn't
us
have
have.
a cat. You didn't have a dog or a cat or nothing.
We had a dog, but it was never in the house. Oh, they didn't come in our house. Never. So we had a bird dog, and we had an Irish setter. Oh my gosh, it's the prettiest thing you ever saw. So, but we had to play with them outside. We never got to bring them in the house. So that's as far as we went. We didn't need pets. There were 7 of us girls. What? Why did we need a pet?
There's so many commercials, and I'm not commercials. See, y'all, I am half looped most of the time. After that cataract surgery, I can see better, but my mind sure has gone south. See,
Well,
there's a lot of comments. See, if I punch them, then they come up on the screen. Can you see them?
well, I'm seeing part of something.
That's little
Oh,
hello
there's something
and
yellow, heart red. What's
heart
that mean?
red. I don't know. Linda, there's Linda. Hi, Linda. Hello, y'all. She said, y'all. Granny Pat doesn't like for me
Yeah,
to use that word.
yeah. She must be from the South. We're famous. Do you know that? You see that? She says,
I don't know
Granny,
about all that. You are probably.
I'm going to have to do something. Oh, land sakes alive. 2 favorite YouTubers.
Yeah, they're coming on pretty quick, and I'm trying to. I don't
Yeah,
know how to
they.
do this.
We won't be able to answer all of them, but I'm trying to read them if the messages are short enough. But it's hard to catch them all when if the messages are very long.
There's George Goss. He said, "Well, hello, Billy and Granny."
See, I'm only
Uh,
getting of the message. I'm
Linda
getting
Wortham is hi,
I'm
Billy.
getting
Yep.
the end of the sentence. Billy, yep.
Hi, Pat. Dead by Daylight says hi, Pat. I just love to listen to you two. That's what Kim White says. Well, we love to listen to us too. That's why we talk a lot.
We talk a lot because your mother doesn't want to listen to you, and my daughter doesn't want to listen to me. So
It
so we
worked
talk
out.
to each other. Yeah,
It worked out. It just worked
yeah,
out.
yeah. And anytime the screen goes black, I think, oh, he's had enough of me now. He's cutting me out.
The K&K Crochet says part of Lassie was filmed 20 minutes from my house.
Oh my. Well, did they get you in any of the films? You know, like
An extra? Were you an
Yeah,
extra?
yeah, stand in, you know. I always
Yeah, this
wanted to do
is,
that.
you
Do you
want to do
think
what?
what's this? Do you think you're Joan Crawford? Must be talking to you.
Me?
Well, somebody says, "What do you mean, studio? Do you think you're
Pat
Joan Crawford?"
said, Pat, do you think you're Joan Crawford?
Well, I can do better than that.
I think so too, because
I'd rather be Ava. She was
yeah,
smart, wasn't she?
you don't have to own Pepsi Cola. You could own Dr. Pepper.
You're right about that. She knows she owned Coca Cola. Coca
Was
Cola.
it Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola?
Yep.
I don't remember. I don't know. She was gone before I was even thought of.
Pepsi and Dr. Pepper are together. They're a company together. Coca Cola's one she owned. Oh, big time. Yeah. So, no, I didn't like Joan Crawford after I saw uh, that movie of her. Well, she wasn't in the movie. It was a movie of her and her daughter. What was Mama Dearest?
I
Remember
wonder
that?
if all that was true. I wonder if all that was true.
Well, you gotta dress up something to get people's attention, and if it's a little bit bad, you got to make it worse, or people won't watch. So
Well,
the worse it,
I heard that she was very, from people that I knew, said she was very difficult on the set. She would show up late and uh, the overrun of the money because she might just be sick for months at a time or say she was sick. So, people didn't want to cast her because she became such a bad
well, wasn't
actress.
Betty Davis about the same way? Wasn't she the same way? Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
they
think I
all,
was with her,
yeah, I
even
think
in.
they all had gripe in there. I think they all had a little
Yeah,
star.
yeah.
They were all thought they were stars, and they didn't want to mess with the film
Well,
studios. So
actually, if I wanted a copycat, I would have taken Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie was
Only I couldn't
good.
dance. I didn't
I
know how to
like
sing
Debbie.
and dance. Yeah, Debbie Reynolds. I would have picked her as one of my
So
favorites.
since we've gotten your TV set up now, have you watched the old free movies on YouTube?
Oh, folks, you will not believe my life has changed forever. I will never get bored again as long as I live. He has put me on these old movies, and I thought I'd seen all of them. There's dozens of them on there I haven't seen. I'm going to be spending the next 3 weeks, 24 hours a day, watching movies. I
There's
can
a
tell
lot of good ones on
oh,
there.
this is wonderful. It's just wonderful. This man, what he has done for me on YouTube and getting me set up. Well, uh, I don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm enjoying it while it does last. And this is the best part of all. My family just dies if they think everybody can see me on television, on YouTube, and they think, "Oh my God, my sister! Everybody's seeing my sister." You know what that's like when you're a sibling. No, you don't know. Yes, you do know. When you're the sibling, they're not doing it. I am. They ought to be proud of me.
I'm very proud of you because you have took hold like nobody's business. You and my mother, her 92 and you whatever. Uh,
Yes, I
I
think
mean,
I think Billie Jean's mother could have her own show because something tells me she would have a little more elegance about her than I have, and I've
well,
seen
I don't know.
her dress.
I
up.
don't know.
You don't know. Yeah, well, she has a good cook. I'll say that. Yeah,
I enjoy
she.
cooking for us. I really do, and I'm so joyful for people learning from the stuff that I learned years ago, and I've just been cooking it, and I'm glad it's helping people. That's the way I look at these. Not that I give a darn if anybody watches them, but it gives me solitude by giving me something to do while I have to be here. And then
Yes.
people have written in, people write in, well, I made that and that was good, and I'm going to do it again. And I think, my goodness, thank you. Thank you
Well,
so much.
took the conclusion that you are so good in the kitchen with the cooking. I'm going to let you do all the cooking, and I'll make flower arrangements and set tables and show my
Good.
antique things like that. Because I don't like working in the kitchen because I'm not good at it. You do a beautiful job, and every time you prepare something, I think he makes that look so easy. But I'm not going to try it just because you make it look easy. I'll just watch you do it, and you are good.
We
You're very.
a lot of times and my followers, now we're going to both channels, so your followers don't really know me, a lot of them. Some of them do because they've come to my channel, but if I mess up, I'm going to tell you I messed up and not cut that out of the video. I want you to realize that we all mess up, and it doesn't matter if you've been making biscuits for 40 years. Sometimes they just don't come out real good.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
I'll just tell you,
And
well,
they don't like when I lick my fingers. Well, nobody going to be eating that food but me. And I think, well, I've been licking fingers all my life. I can't stop now. You know,
well, it's kind of like
good
me, having a bite,
Ed.
just getting a little bite of something. But being
Yeah.
having to cook for the public or having to have restaurant or whatever, I was very careful with it. But with Mother and I here, I'm not gonna, just like I said on today's video that I haven't gotten uploaded with the turkey and egg noodles. The egg noodles were old timey egg noodles, and they're not going to be what everybody envisions that come out of a package. So I put a link for them to go get the Walmart egg noodles if they don't want to make them. I just did it because I wanted to give me something to do. And I told them on there, I said, I'm not going to wear gloves, opera length or any kind of gloves to fix my food because it's just me and mom. I said, but if you're going to wear
Exactly.
gloves, get you some of those opera length gloves, and then they will be less burdensome than mittens. So
Well, I enjoy watching you doing the cooking, and I will have to say, beside my mother, you're the only person I've ever seen that could take apart a bird with a butcher knife the way you do. My mother, she'd take that thigh and leg and she'd pull it like this and hold it, and she'd take her big butcher knife and go whack, go right between those bones. She never chipped a bone. She was an expert at that, and I think well, she never did it with turkey because she didn't like turkey. But I watched you with that turkey, and I thought, well, darn, he make that stuff look good.
well, I'm
Yeah.
afraid we're going to be sick of turkey because I've still got turkey to use. But what do you do when you've got two people or one person in the house? I mean,
Well, they don't make turkey this big for us. I mean, it take me 6 months to whole turkey. So what
well,
those little ones
I've tried to dispose of
that
it,
you
but
get? Yeah. Well, so much for food. Let's see.
um,
You know the what? Do you know the days are going to get shorter now? I don't know how you feel about it, but I like the long summer days. And I don't want them to go back to changing the time again because the way it is now suits me just fine. The
About the
school,
time they get it, about the time they get it changed, I get acclimated to it, and then they throw me off kilter again. You know,
yeah,
so
that's what I
I
do. So I just hate to see the long, pretty days go because I like, see, it's still daylight out there now, and
yeah,
it's, God knows, it's 8:30 here, and I'm still
it's,
seeing blue sky. I like it. Yeah. So haven't had a vacation this summer yet. Well, I don't ever really have vacations. We just on the spur of the moment decide to go somewhere and do something, we do it. But
you got
it,
your Dr. Pepper. You got your Dr. Pepper.
right here, yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of places that I would like to go, but you know, right now it's just too hot to try to go anywhere. Uh,
Everywhere, it's cold here compared to your weather and the other people on YouTube that tell me how hot it is where they live. You know, I went to Las Vegas once years ago, and it was in June, and it was 107 degrees there. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to suffocate. They're talking about 110, 112, 115 degrees. I've never known temperatures like that. I don't know if I could handle it or not. But anyway, well, we have to deal with it. We're just fortunate that we do have air conditioning. Yeah.
how did that go this week? When I talked to you earlier in the week, your air conditioner was out at the apartment or the whatever.
It's not completely out. It just they just can't get it up to par to where you don't. Well, if you're working in the house or something, you're going to get a little bit sweaty. So
Hmm.
I don't get. I'm not real too hot natured anyway. So uh, when you're sitting in front of an iPad most of the time, you're not going to work up a sweat. So I don't have a problem. That's no problem for me. And I can wear the same shirt 2 or 3 days, without having to wash it and it starts smelling. So most people can't do that. But uh, anyway, we're on a different system in the hallway. The halls are long and wide. And they said, everybody just keep their front door open, have it pushed open so the air from the hallways would come into our condos. And I thought, well, I don't stay dressed well enough to keep my front door standing open right in front of the elevator.
Well, no, you better be careful there. You know, I don't know. I don't know what
Oh,
goes on in that place. I don't know what goes on in that place you live in, but I don't know. You
I
better be
got no,
careful.
I got nothing to worry about. Somebody says a fabulous Mr. DeMille. Did did any of you see the photograph I put on of my daughter when she was going to some kind of Halloween party and she had to have a costume, so she went as
Mhm.
what's her name?
Gloria
Norma
Swan,
Desmond. She
Norma
went as
Desmond.
Norma Desmond. I'll tell you, you remember when uh, Carol Burnett came down the stairs as Norma Desmond? I'm telling you, Jan looked just like Carol Burnett. She had that makeup on. She had the feathers. She had the jewelry and the long cigarette, the whole work. Uh, she'd be a good actress. She'd be a really good actress. Or she could be a stand in where she could do the walking down the steps. and she's really good. I'll have to show you the picture that sometime. You'll agree with me. She really did a good job.
I'm
Let's
trying
see.
to read some, but I can't see them.
Whoa, 110, 111, 112 degrees in Las Vegas now, and the 90s in California. Well, the last couple of days it's been 90 degrees here in central Kentucky.
How
So it
much?
has. Say it
How,
again.
what temperature has it been there?
Here, 90.
Well,
That's
it's about 93 in Texas, Oklahoma, all about 93, 90.
we don't usually get above 90 unless it just a day or well, I remember moving once on a day when it was 100 degrees. I thought my head was going to split open. It was so hot, and I thought I was going to have a stroke. Yeah, that's as hot as it gets here.
I think last year, and I may be wrong, it seemed like it was 115, maybe. I may be wrong, but it was hot. It was so hot.
Yeah, and there's
And
no air, no breeze, so whatever. So much for weather. So we just have to bear with it, and as long as it's
yeah,
not flooding and tornadoes and things, we've had so much of that. I I met a couple girls at an antique shop one day. They were from Pikeville, Kentucky. They had the flooding. The flooding was bad. And she told me, and it had just been a few weeks since they had the flood. She said, by the time she found out the water was coming in the house, she had pictures of her. Somebody, I don't know how anybody had a camera, but anyway, she came out her front door and the water was up to her neck as she walked. Wasn't able to grab anything, and so she said they'd been trying to put things back together, and I just
uh,
couldn't imagine what that was like for her.
explain to me that I've never asked you this. Up there where the Appalachian Mountains, how far are you from that area of where everybody hears about the Appalachian cooking, the Appalachian lifestyle?
Well, it's in several states. It goes hundreds and hundreds of miles. Appalachia starts up in Maine and goes all the way down through North Carolina. So parts of the state of Kentucky, parts of the state of Virginia and West Virginia, and on down, and Ohio are in the Appalachian area. So uh, I don't know, it's not that way today, what you're talking about. Let's go back at least 50 years before that. That's when, you had the log cabins, you had
Uh-huh.
the outdoor privies and that sort of thing. And the people in the mountains, there was no work for them to do if they didn't have their own farms. And I'm sure they had to have their own farm in order to eat. But these documentaries that you see, it really upsets me the way they can make the people of Appalachia look. Uh, they were hardworking people. They did everything they could. They were good with. They learned a lot from having to use their hands and make and do everything. But they were put down by these documentaries, making them look worse. And I've always been very upset when I see a documentary come on that someone famous decide they're going to go into the mountains and into the coal mine. Now, let me tell you, I worked for the Department of Surface Mining. You know what surface mining is, don't you? That's
Yes.
where they take the coal off the side of the mountain, off the side of the mountain. I got to climb one of those mountains once in a Jeep, and I thought we were going to go sliding down the side of the mountain as we went up that hill. It was so steep. But it's unbelievable what you see when you have experienced viewing surface mining. Of course, they're not supposed to be doing that anymore, but I'm sure they still do. But
Mhm.
um, that's only work the people had was working in the mines, and they weren't making any money. I always think of that Tennessee song. Oh, what was the song that working in the coal mines? You know what it is. Everybody's heard it. It's a very famous Tennessee Ernie Ford song. And well, anyway, it's not like it used to be. The people have come out of the hills. There's a place called Hindman, Kentucky. Hindman goes way back to where the people were poor. But my neighbor has a book that was written by a lady who, it was called the Hindman Settlement. And that's where the young people went to school. They went to school. Some of them had to walk 13 miles to and from school, so they had to stay at the settlement. It is one of the best books I've ever read because it was written by someone who taught and started the settlement. And my neighbor's mother was one of those students, and I got to read about her in the book. It is such a delightful book. And of course, I think the book was called The Caney Girl. Um, I don't know if you can still get the book, but if you want to read something true to life about the uh, coal mines, about the poverty and all, and the way they got their educations, and I was told that the Hindman settlement now is a school for dyslexic. Now, we all know a little bit about dyslexia and how hard it is for students to get an education when they're dyslexic. But she told me that they come from all over the United States to go to that dyslexic school. And I think that's wonderful because I've known friends, and my son had a close friend who was dyslexic, and he had to be tutored at home so that he could work along with the other students in school. Anyway, I didn't really mean to get into that, but we're talking about Appalachia, and it is in the mountains.
Are they still a lot of village, not villages? I don't know. That's why I don't know anything about it. I would like to know more about it. Um, and I'll look up that book to just see. But are they still villages? Were they villages there or towns?
Well, not really. You know, my oldest sister was born at Baxter, Kentucky. Baxter, Kentucky's right. I think it was just a few miles from Hazard. Harlan and Hazard are the one you see them in the movies. Those old movies where they were bootlegging whiskey and stuff like that. But my dad had to walk the railroad tracks from where they were living back into Hazard. There were no lights for him to follow. So he followed the railroad tracks into town to get a doctor come and deliver the first baby, my oldest sister. And that's the only way you had. You walked or you rode a horse. That's it. So, but there's so many interesting stories, and those people were smart people. They were smart. They had to be, because the way they had to live, they had to create their own employment. They had to know how to make a wagon wheel. They had to know when to plant corn and when to plant beans. You had to be smart. You weren't stupid because you didn't have the formal education. And I think that's what's been poorly taught to the American people, is that people living in the mountains were stupid. They weren't. They were very smart. That's my lesson for today.
We liked it. I'm going to look more up about it. So that's why I asked the question, because if I don't know something, my mother said he'll stop you in the middle of a sentence if he doesn't know what a word is, and he will ask you, but he'll never forget it. And he will look it up till he
Yes.
figures out what it means. And I've always been very inquisitive like that.
Well, not being raised in the mountains, I always said where the small town I'm from was at the foot of the mountains. So we were down in the small town. We didn't know anything about the log cabins and the outdoor. Well, there was no plumbing. So I didn't grow up knowing that kind of life. I didn't know anything about how to hoe corn. And so I find it very interesting when you can really go back and see what it was and is like. Uh, these people, you can learn so much from those people.
Yeah. You know, I think in Texas, during the Depression, those people must have lived way past the Depression, the people you're speaking of, and that's just the way they lived for many years after, you know. And we had dirt farmers and things like that, but, you know, I guess I guess everybody, no matter where you live, unless you're in big cities at that time, you learn to use what you have. And that's what I was taught, even though I'm a younger generation. You don't waste stuff. You
No,
make do with what you have. And that's the way I've been raised.
well, that's the way it should be. And I think they should be teaching things like that in school. The young people need to learn how to change a plug on a lamp cord. They need to know how to change the stop a drip in the faucet. That's something you're going to be doing the rest of your life, so you need to know how to do it.
Well, Granny Pat, I think we've talked as much as we need to, because these are going to get smoother. I don't think we can ever have a schedule because of topics, because you and I, we go so far off the path, we're into the woods in about 5 minutes. So there's no.
Actually, we haven't even touched on the subject we were going to talk about. So I think
Well, I
that should be saved for the next one.
don't
And
even remember what it was.
well, I think it's something sitting back behind you somewhere, a piece of furniture, and it plays music.
Oh, the Victrola. You know, I guess we could just put that record on and then close out with it. How about that?
That sounds good to me. I'd go for that.
Okay, we'll do it that way then. We sure will. And I don't know if everybody, I had to turn the light on so they could see, because I don't know if a lot of people, they will know what it is, but young people don't. And Mother and I still listen to the old Victrola on Sundays, and that's what we do on today. So I'm going to put one of the religious records on, and then we'll just close out from there, and we won't say anything, and I'll just take it off, and then we'll say that's the end.
Okay.
We have to crank it.
Folks, we'll get organized one of these days and we'll get something going.
Used to have.
Hey,
Let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from my
that's the old.
side flow. See of thee in love, trouble cure. Take from my life, make me pure. Good my tears forever flow. Good my zeal, no languor, no. Cease from sin, good not at all. Well, my slave and thou alone. In my hands no price I bring. Simply to thy cross I cling.